Hey there guys, welcome to Dino's Vault once again, and here's the much awaited video all you guys have been requesting me for, a battle of two epic motorcycles that have changed the mindset of the average Indian biker. They have transformed a mileage hungry generation into a fun loving generation. They've helped the Indian biker realize that there's more to motorcycles than just offering good mileage and transporting you from point A to point B. They have helped us realize that motorcycling is a therapy, it is a form of meditation, and it is a lifestyle to set you free from anything and everything that is trying to weigh you down. We bikers owe so much to both the Pulsar and Apache RTR series of bikes because they were brave enough to rise against the odds, believe in their ideology about motorcycling, and most importantly, they have contributed heavily to establishing and evolving the biking culture here among the masses. Now, both the brands enjoy a phenomenal following not only across our nation but also across the world. It's a proud moment for us Indian bikers to cherish as the Indian bike makers are giving their Japanese rivals a run for their money within a very short period of getting into making performance motorcycles. Now, this is a sign that goes to say that we Indians are no less than anybody else in making performance machines that meet world standards. Okay, now keeping aside this emotional talk, let's get down to business. First, we'll start out by looking at what's new with the Pulsar 200 NS. First of all, the bike gets a BS4 compliant engine now, which means it puts out lesser pollution and is now more eco-friendly. Secondly, we now have the new dual tone paint schemes introduced with more striking body graphics. We have this black and grey color variant that looks cool. We then have this stunning looking red and grey color variant that looks the best in my opinion. And we also have this white and grey color variant that looks pretty good. Next, the bike also gets an engine cowl now that goes well with the rest of the design of the bike. The bike also gets a center stand now, which is good. The Speedo now gets a blue backlit display as opposed to the yellow one earlier. The bike now gets AHO or automatic headlamp on function, which means no light switch and the light turns on in low beam the moment you start the bike. Technically speaking, the power and torque remain the same as the preceding model, but the bike is now heavier by 1 to 2 kgs. It also now features the EVAP or evaporative emission control system, which is used to prevent gasoline vapors from escaping into the atmosphere from the fuel tank or even the fuel system. Now, please note that there is no ABS and no fuel injection variant for the Indian market as of yet. Now, here's what is carried forward from the older model. The new Pulsar 200 NS gets the same perimeter frame that offers great handling characteristics. We have the same 199.5cc liquid-cooled 4-valve single-cylinder triple spark plug carbureted engine. Power and torque remain the same at 23.5 PS and 18.3 Newton meters respectively. The brakes remain the same with a 280mm disc up front and a 230mm disc at the back. The suspension remains the same with a telescopic unit with anti-friction bush up front and a rear nitrox monoshock. The tires remain the same with 17-inch wheels, tubeless tires and a 100/80 front tire and a 130/70 rear tire. The bike also gets a full DC setup headlamp. Fuel tank capacity is 12 liters, ground clearance is 167 mm, and the wet weight is 152 kgs. Now, what's new and remarkably noteworthy though is the way the bike rides. Now, I could notice the difference immediately because my cousin already owns the first generation 200 NS, and this new variant feels far superior in terms of refinement, power delivery, and offering smoother acceleration. The clutch feel is now light and easy, the gear shifts are a lot smoother and the throttle action is a lot crispier. The suspension feels perfectly tuned now to offer a perfect blend of comfort and performance. Well, that was about what's new with the Pulsar 200 NS. Now next we'll get into the actual comparo between the 200 NS and the RTR 200. The 200 NS beats the RTR 200 comprehensively on paper with the kind of equipment it has on offer because it offers a perimeter frame for better handling. It also offers a 6-speed gearbox as opposed to the 5-speed gearbox on the RTR. The Pulsar gets liquid cooling whereas the RTR gets an oil-cooled engine. Pulsar also offers backlit switches and a gas-charged rear monoshock compared to the RTR. Now, though both the bikes feature petal discs which offer better heat dissipation, the Pulsar gets a larger 280mm front disc as opposed to the 270mm one on the RTR. However, at the back, the RTR gets a larger 240mm disc as opposed to the 230mm one on the Pulsar. I also like the layout of the fully digital instrument panel on the RTR 200 when compared to that of the Pulsar 200 NS. It also offers better information with a gear position indicator and a gear shift indicator. We also get a lap timer, and it also tells us the top speed achieved, etc. Now, where the RTR scores well and truly over the Pulsar 200 NS though is with the various variants it has on offer. First of all, we get two engine options to choose from, one with a carburetor and the other with fuel injection. Next, we get the tires option of going with Pirelli tires or the stock TVS Remora tires. And finally, where the RTR scores comprehensively over the 200 NS is with the dual channel ABS variant, which also gets RLP or rear wheel lift-off protection. Now, I agree that we are still waiting for the ABS variant to hit the market, but it is going to come out eventually sooner or later. So the RTR scores over the 200 NS by offering a more variety of options to choose from. Now, looking at the engine and performance section, first of all, the 200 NS puts out more power by nearly 3.5 PS compared to the RTR 200. The 200 NS also just barely edges past the RTR 200 by offering 0.2 Newton meter of more torque. Now, please note that both the bikes get 4-valve engines. Also, where the Pulsar 200 NS scores over the RTR is with its 6-speed gearbox as opposed to the 5-speed gearbox on the RTR. Honestly, you don't really miss the 6th gear while you're caught up in the mid-range until you decide to push the bike further. The 6th gear or the overdrive gear helps you push the bike all the way up the rev band without straining the engine. The RTR though weighs lesser at 148 kgs, whereas the Pulsar is heavier by 4 kgs, weighing in at 152 kgs. Now, despite this, when it comes to power to weight ratio, the Pulsar scores over the RTR 200 with a higher power to weight ratio of 155 PS per ton as opposed to 135 PS per ton of the RTR. Hence, the Pulsar races to 60 km per hour within 3.87 seconds as opposed to 3.95 seconds of the carbureted variant of the RTR. The FI variant of the RTR though does 0 to 60 km per hour in 3.9 seconds. The 0 to 100 km per hour claim for RTR 200 is 12 seconds, whereas the Pulsar scores a ton in just 10.28 seconds. Now, talking about the design, looks are always subjective and more to do with personal taste. In my opinion, despite the Pulsar being an older design, the new paint schemes and the body graphics lend it a more striking and sportier look, especially the red and grey color variant. The RTR 200, though resembling the stunning Draken concept to a great extent, looks like a sharpshooter design with sharper edges and cuts defining its bodywork. The RTR also scores over the Pulsar by offering more color options with a whole variety of matte finish and glossy finish color schemes, thereby offering a total of 7 color variants. Now, coming to the ride feel of the bikes, both the bikes are perfectly matched and equipped to outwit and outsmart the other. Hence, even though if one wins over the other in certain sections, the margin of victory is very slight. Comfort-wise, both are easy to flick around in the city, offer nice and linear power delivery and hassle-free riding experience with well-sorted-out riding ergonomics. Now, these same bikes can be enjoyed on weekend rides and can also be taken out for touring. Now, though on paper the Pulsar puts out more power, you cannot really differentiate between the two or cannot really feel the lack of power with the RTR 200. Both are special in their own unique way of delivering the power. The RTR 200 gets a nice and punchy engine and it is a delight to ride in the city or on the highways. The new 200 NS2 with a more refined motor now feels very smooth across the rev band. Now, talking about the brakes, both offer decent braking, but an optional ABS would be a welcome addition for the Pulsar 200 NS. Therefore, the RTR 200 with the optional dual-channel ABS variant slated to hit the market soon wins the battle here. Now, suspension-wise, again, both get excellent suspension setups. The RTR gets a race-oriented KYB monoshock at the back that perfectly complements its rock-solid chassis, but somehow I feel the Pulsar offers a better blend of comfort and performance. It offers a nice, soft and plush ride at lower speeds and holds up well at higher speeds too. Now, talking about the wheels and tires, both get almost similar dimension tires at both ends, but the RTR wins the battle again here by offering optional Pirelli tires which offer superior road grip compared to the MRF zappers on the Pulsar. But the trade-off here is that the Pirelli tires would wear out quickly compared to the MRF tires, and the replacement cost is significantly higher for Pirellis as well. The Pulsar, however, with the perimeter frame and longer wheelbase of 1363 mm, which is 10 mm more than that of the RTR, offers better stability and a more planted feel at higher speeds. Now, tank capacity for both is 12 liters, which is not bad, but it doesn't translate into great tank range if you plan on going long distance touring. Now, talking about the exhaust note, let's hear them out now. The RTR sounds amazing because the double barrel exhaust is made from stainless steel to offer that racing roar. The Pulsar 2 sounds a lot better now compared to its preceding model. Now coming to the mileage, as per user feedback, the RTR 200 offers around 38 kmpl in city conditions, which is quite impressive. The Pulsar with its triple spark technology is likely to offer decent mileage as well. My cousin used to get around 35 kmpl in city conditions from his bike, but since this new model is BS4 compliant and a lot more refined, I'm hoping for it to match the RTR figure. Finally, coming to the price battle, ex-showroom price here in Hyderabad for the RTR 200 with TVS tires is Rs 93,625 and for the Pirelli tires is Rs 98,625 and the ex-showroom price for Pulsar 200 NS is Rs 98,000. So coming to the final verdict, the RTR does enjoy the price advantage. It doesn't feel underpowered when you ride it. It packs all the excitement. It is versatile and you get the Pirelli tires variant for the price of 200 NS. Hence it makes a little more sense. At the same time, the Pulsar 200 NS looks more attractive. It does get great equipment like perimeter frame, liquid cooling, larger front disc, more power, the added 6th gear, backlit switches, gas charged rear monoshock, etc. So it justifies its slightly higher price tag too. Now choosing one among the two is like having to choose between Deepika Padukone and Katrina Kaif or having to choose between Sachin Tendulkar and Brian Lara. Now that's how closely matched these two bikes are. However, the RTR with its more affordable price, more color options, more variants to include FI and ABS variants just slightly edges past the 200 NS. I personally love both the machines and continue to celebrate the super success of two iconic Indian brands that are undoubtedly history makers here in our Indian market and now winning the hearts of bikers also across the world. Well, that's pretty much it for now. I just hope you found this video useful. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless and ride safe.